All right, Hannah. Have you recently gone out to dinner with coworkers or have in the past had a spot? Because I know I'm located in a more rural area, so it's a bit harder to like go out for food, drinks or whatever. But is there like a spot that has been a work spot or restaurant?
I wouldn't say we have like a consistent place. Like I've been out with coworkers and we just go to like cuz the area I work has a lot of options. I work in a pretty like populated area. So I wouldn't say there's like a spot. I mean, I will say the place by me, which is surprising that I go to the most with people is Applebee's.
Perfect segue, Hannah.
Oh.
Perfect segue. And I was wondering if you were going to say that because you've mentioned you gone to Applebee's before. But so a coworker of mine is leaving. So earlier this week, someone was like, hey, what if we went to Applebee's to like get dinner and then like kind of be a little send off for this coworker? And I was like, sure. And then I was thinking and I was like, when is the last time I went to Applebee's? And Hannah, I honestly think it was in college.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to an Applebee's since 2016.
Yeah.
Probably. So I was like, what is even at Applebee's? What do I get?
They have rats.
What's there? They have what? They have rats. A whole one of my Cobb's. I looked at the Cobb salad.
Yeah.
But I went there and I was like, you know what? Applebee's is all right. Applebee's is all right. So I got I was not a driver, so I got like I guess The Rock has a margarita. It was like a blue margarita that basically just tasted like juice. I didn't taste any tequila. But it was massive. It was like a goblet of margarita. And then I got wings. I got boneless wings, which I'm like, when is the time I've eaten boneless wings? And I think it was with you at a Buffalo Wild Wings with a previous partner of yours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a while ago.
It was also probably 4 to 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. Even, yeah. I think it was early 2020. It was either early 2020 or end of 2019. But I had a nice time, We had a good time. It was a nice, we had like a corner booth. Our waitress was very nice. She's like, I've been here like 15 hours, joking around. The food was fine. I had like a hot honey and boneless wings and we had some spinach artichoke dip and and a margarita. And I was like, I feel like I have been, shitting on Applebee's.
Yeah.
In general.
I think what I like about Applebee's is that it's a decent price. I don't think you're overpaying for the quality of the food.
It's also fancy like.
Yeah, fancy like Applebee's. Thank God that song's not on the list this year.
It was previous year.
Yeah. And I usually get like they have like an appetizer combo you can get.
Yeah.
You usually can like pick 3 appetizers. So I usually get like the spinach and artichoke dip because I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And then I get like either like the mozzarella sticks and like they have like a quesadilla that's pretty good or potato skins. But yeah, and I get their strawberry daiquiri, which is pretty good.
Ooh, okay.
Again, tastes just like juice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tend to go there. There's one right by where I live, and I've been there with people before. That's kind of like the place people meet at.
Okay.
I think because like Applebee's is like never too busy.
You can always get a table. Your family. That's not the Applebee's motto, right? Is that a different restaurant?
No, that's Olive Garden. It's when you're eating good in the neighborhood.
Fancy like. They really leaned in that fancy like for a while.
But yeah, we never really went to Applebee's growing up. That was not we went to like Max and Irma's.
Max and Irma's, which was a regional Midwest thing. And, or we went to Olive Garden occasionally. Red Lobster.
And then we had the Family Buggy.
Yeah, and
Mr. B's.
Or like diners.
Yeah.
I feel like we went to a lot of diners. But I feel like the only times I remember going to Applebee's were like on trips.
Yeah.
Like tournaments. For some reason, you, me, and Mom went to an Applebee's. Like... either when we were in high school or early college. I don't know why. I can't like remember why we were at an Applebee's, but we were at an Applebee's, but just the 3 of us for some reason.
But I would describe Applebee's as like it's usually a good experience. I mean, again, like it's not overpriced.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Applebee's is it knows what it is.
Yeah. I was like,
It
it's not
doesn't
trying
try to be something it's not.
It's not trying to be something
Yeah,
fancy.
they have good appetizers. They have like good like burgers, sandwiches. You can't go wrong. And they have like a pretty decent sized menu too,
Yeah.
variety wise. Yeah, and they've got some good drinks. I remember when they used to do that thing where
It's like $1. That's the reason I was thinking of
Yeah.
I wanted a margarita is because they had that $1 margarita deal
Yeah.
where I'm sure they were extremely watered down.
I
but,
remember
yeah.
someone showed how they made them, and they were just like pure water and like a little bit of alcohol.
Like, not 2
but yeah,
shots of vodka.
Applebee's has rats, but Applebee's, I'm
Is-
okay with Applebee's having rats.
Me too. If Ratatouille's in that kitchen, I think we're having a good time. You know,
Yeah.
he's up there whipping up a little food,
Yeah, he's whipping up those apps.
whipping up some apps and a margarita.
Yeah,
Give me one margarita.
yeah.
And I'm going to love Ratatouille, you know? Bottoms up.
Applebee's. Summer,
Summer.
summer,
Summer.
summer,
Summer.
summer,
Summer.
summer,
Summer.
summer,
Summer. In
What
November.
time is it?
November time.
It's our summer of songs in November.
What time is it?
is
Time
it?
of our lives.
It's our vacation.
Welcome.
Welcome.
This is Research Rank Repeat. I am co-host Alyssa.
This is co-host Hannah, and we are bringing you the songs of the summer in November.
Now, this is not the first time we've done a Songs of Summer in the fall.
No.
And it won't be the last, probably. But
No.
this year, you know, we just got really busy.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We got busy.
We got busy.
Got sick.
You know?
There's sickness. We had to
We got
reschedule.
sick.
We had to reschedule, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
There was sickness.
I was hit with a plague.
I got hit with a sickness.
Yeah.
Busy trips, had things
Yeah.
going on. So we were not able to record until the middle of November. But you know what? We're here.
We're here.
We've got our information. And Hannah and I have chosen, once again, our best and worst songs of the summer. Now, this is our 4th year doing this.
Yeah.
I believe we started in 2021.
I think we've done it. Yeah, I think this is 4 years.
This will be our 4th year. You know what? Actually, I take that back. We didn't do it in 2021.
Okay, so 3rd year.
3rd year. Because
This
at
is our
least
3rd year doing this.
At least in my notes, I only have records of 2022 and 2023. So I hope we didn't do it in 2021.
I will fact check as you give some information.
Okay. But this is our 3rd year doing it.
Yep.
So if you're not familiar with our Songs of the Summer episodes, essentially what Hannah and I do is, or what I should say, what I do is I go through and I look at Billboard's Songs of the Summer list, which is a list of, I believe it's 30 songs that are considered a song of the summer. And what that means is some type of metrics that they look at to determine what is considered a song of the summer. Sometimes it's the same as the Hot 100, sometimes it's not. It really depends on the year, the time, the week. But every week it'll change to give updates to what is considered like the top songs most listened to. They factor in streaming, they factor in radio play, purchases like records, albums. I guess if iTunes is still a thing, iTunes songs. But it goes from June 8th this year, June 8th to September 7th. So it starts the first week of June and usually ends around Labor Day. That's just the general schedule. So it's about 13 weeks. I wrote that down. 13 weeks this year.
Yes.
So we have 13 weeks worth of songs. But because what we found, and it's 4 years? So yeah, we have been doing it for 4 years. My mistake. My mistake.
Yeah.
But what is interesting to note is looking at changes, like how many songs are on the list. Because so what we do, I don't know why I did that. My back hurts. I'm trying to adjust my pillow, and it's just being difficult. So what we do is every year, the Songs of the Summer list basically does not change for the entire summer. I think this year we had the entire 13 weeks, 4 new songs were added to the list. So that would only give us 34 songs, which is not very many.
No.
If we're doing 10 that's 1/3 of the songs we'd be including. And because we've wanted to add a little more variety, what we've done is we've gone to the Hot 100 list and taken the top 30 songs from there, which tends to be a little bit different, and add those songs also to the list. So that way it's a little bit more representative, and that ends up usually being somewhere between 50 to 100 songs is about where we've been over the years. Now it varies. So last year we had 93 songs. This year, 68 songs. And I'll go over a little bit more specific stuff as we get into it. But Hannah, do you have anything to add before I get into some background about this year specifically?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I enjoy this one. I enjoy it, one, because sometimes I get new songs I've never heard of. And I don't typically listen to the radio. I typically listen to Spotify playlist, or, I'll do the music where it gives you new songs. But for the most part, I don't listen to the radio, so I don't always hear the big songs that come out each summer. So it's always interesting to hear that. I would say for this year, we had a couple artists that kind of dominated the list, as tends to happen when artists release albums, especially right before summertime or earlier in the year. It was interesting to see who was on the list.
Yeah.
I think interesting to see someone like Eminem, who, still is making music, but was predominantly maybe more popular in the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see who's on the list. I think I would say this year there wasn't as big of a variety as we've had in the past.
I have some talking points on that. Yeah, I would 100% agree.
I think, and also we only had 68 songs, so that's part of it. But I think in the past we've had a lot of we've had some international hits, and I think we only had one this year. Well, I guess from an international artist. I don't really know if you would consider it an international hit or an international song. It's sung in English. Because we've had Spanish songs in the past. So yeah, I think it was interesting to see. I was surprised how familiar I was with a lot of the songs on this list.
Yeah.
Compared to previous years. And I mean, you always get the songs that you find, I find them through Instagram Reels or TikTok because they blow up. There were artists that I had listened to the whole album before this list even came out, so I was pretty familiar with most of the discography. So yeah, I think it was an interesting list. I wouldn't say too many things surprised me. They maybe have in the past. But yeah, I was very familiar with the list this year, which maybe made it easier to cut songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I definitely agree. I'll get into that a little bit later, but definitely I would say way less variety than we've seen in previous years, especially internationally. But I'm glad to say, for one part, there's two things to this. Every year, we always have a song, at least one song, if not multiple, that are from the previous year. And usually that's some song on the Songs of Summer list is then on the next list the next year. This year, every song on the Songs of Summer list was new. There was not a single repeat song. But on the Billboard Hot 100, there was one repeat song, which is I Remember Everything, which is Luke Bryan.
It's
I can't. No, don't please do not tell me I did this again.
Okay, it's Casey Musgraves.
Yes,
and
I wrote down Luke Bryan.
Zach Bryan.
It's Zach.
Yes, it's not. Luke Bryan.
I didn't even intentionally do that, Hannah. I just wrote down Luke Bryan.
No, that would be Zach Bryan.
Okay, Zach Bryan. I'm sorry, this is happening again. If you listen to our last year episode, I think I pronounced 6 different people's name. I just combined all the country singers, Zach Bryan, Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan was not on the list this year, but Luke Combs was.
Yeah, there's too many of the same names.
Zach Bryan and Luke Combs this year, no Luke Bryan.
Too many white countrymen all collectively are the same person. To me, that's not true, but It's what happened last year. But that was the only repeating song. That was on the list last year. It was then on the list this year. So, for our song of the summer, the song that led in the number one spot every single week was I Had Some Help, which was Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
So, country song led the charts, which was
surprised.
similar to what happened last year.
Yeah.
So oftentimes there is a little bit of a change, but this year it was pretty consistent. Like the top 5 songs maybe shifted a little bit, but number one stayed the same every single time. Hot 100 though was different. There were changes in the Hot 100 in number one and the top more so than Songs of Summer. Like Songs of Summer tends to be pretty stagnant with very little change, whereas the Hot 100 changes way more often than that does. So something that I thought was really interesting is that this year, for the first week, the Hot 100 and the Billboard Songs of Summer matched 100%. They were the exact same list, 1 to 30, for both sets, which I thought was very strange, because that usually does not happen. Right. But by week 2, it had shifted, and they were a little bit different. And then I also, something I usually do is I kind of add them in chunks. So I'll add like a couple chunks, like 2 to 3 chunks throughout the year. So I kind of noted some things that I noticed as we went along. So in July, there were only 2 new entries to the list. One of them being Chappell Roan's Good Luck Babe, and then the Boots song, Dasha.
Yes,
Your boots working.
Austin.
Boots are, I should know it. It's like Boots something. Where's my songs of summer list?
Austin.
Boots. Boots stop working.
Boots stop
quotation,
working,
or parentheses, Boots stop working. So those were the only 2 songs that were added, but they only went up to about mid-pack. So Please, Please, Please in June was the number one song on the Hot 100 at a certain point when it was released, because that came out after the list we had started, and that shot up to number one on Hot 100, but it never got higher than mid-pack with Songs of the Summer, which I thought that was really interesting as well. Then into July, Bar Song by Shaboozey became the number one song on the Hot 100 for 8 weeks straight. So that song dominated the Hot 100 into August. And then in August, also another thing that was really interesting, in August, there were only two new songs in general that even entered the Hot 100. So the entire month of August, there were only 2 new songs the entire time, which that was really abnormal. Normally you see a lot more shifting and a lot more newer songs as artists release singles, release albums, songs catch on TikTok, Instagram, that sort of thing. So that was really weird. But then all of a sudden you get the artists who get the album drop. So there were 3 artists that got an album drop where they release an album and pretty much like a good majority of their songs get added to the list. Which, of all the people, Eminem was added. So Eminem had 8 songs that were in this list. Post Malone released his country album that had 6 songs, and Sabrina Carpenter was leading the pack, had 10 songs on the list. So those were the 3 that released an album and had all of their songs, or the majority of their songs from the album on the list. There were several artists who had 4 songs. It was weird. 4 was the number this year. So Billie Eilish, Chappell Roan, Zach Bryan, got his name right this time, Kendrick Lamar, and Morgan Wallen all had 4 songs on this list. So 4 was weirdly the number that a lot of artists had. And then, same with the international. We didn't have any songs that were spoken in another language on this list at all, in general. And really the only international artist we had was Jimin, who's a member of B12? My God, why am I blanking on what their name is? BTS. I got there.
You got the letter right.
I don't know. Like, I read it earlier today.
B12 isn't B12 a vitamin?
It is vitamin B12. Sorry, from BTS, the Korean pop band. K-pop. superstars. They've been on our list a couple times. They had the butter. Yeah, they've had a couple hits. Butter. So he was the only really prominent international artist. Like, we're not counting Canadian artists, like North. I feel like that, like Drake doesn't count. He's
But we also like you said, we didn't have any songs in another language.
We didn't have any Spanish. We didn't have any.
We've had fairly
a lot.
We've had at least a couple Spanish songs most of at least last year and I think the year previous.
Yeah, it's interesting because there were, I think, a few hits that did have, like, Megan Thee Stallion, she didn't have a single song that made either list, which was annoying because she released a new album in the summer. That's beside the point. But she had one of her biggest songs was with a Korean artist who sang some of it in Korean. And she sings also a little bit as well. And that didn't, I know it was, like, charting, but it didn't chart high enough to be on this list. So that was really interesting. One thing I'll say, I think the Songs of the Summer is very heavy on the pop girlies. You got a lot of pop girlies on this list. A lot of LGBT artists made this list, which is great.
Yep.
Not as much country domination as we've seen in previous years, but still quite a bit of country.
Yeah.
Or bro country, like hip hop country.
Well, and I think having Post Malone's album, a lot of the country songs were his songs of it collaborated with other people.
Right.
And then there was like one song that was from Twister, the movie soundtrack. So yeah, we've had a lot of years we've had quite a bit of country music. And this year was very skewed towards the pop girls.
I would say so too. We definitely had some rap. Definitely
I won't
had
complain
some,
about the pop
I'm
girls.
I'm not going to complain. Definitely had some rap. Definitely had some R&B, country.
Right.
Very little alternative.
Yeah.
Like very little rock alternative. That was probably the least prominent genre.
Yeah.
On this list, I would say.
Which I think it speaks to. I think Songs of the Summer speaks to trends in music.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
If you look right now, a lot of the popular, like really popular musical artists right now are like the girls in pop or I should say people in pop. And you know, still some country music and some like R&B, rap, artists like that. But yeah, I think it tends to show like the trends of, you know, that specific year. And also like we've been in this trend since we started the Songs of the Summer, where we get a lot of like pop anthem, like usually tend to be female artists who tend to kind of dominate these lists a little bit more than maybe other genres. But I think that's kind of just like indicative of where we're at in the music atmosphere.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go over, the last thing I have is just to compare the number of songs we had each year. So 2021 was the first year we had 66. Then in 2022 we jumped up to 74. Last year we had 93. And now we're back down to 68. So we almost had the lowest amount again. Like it was like almost 30 less songs this year than we had last year. And last year I feel like we had just had so many artists release albums. It was like Beyonce had released an album. Drake had released an album. I think Travis Scott had released an album. So it's just like really like it would be essentially what you'd have in the Billboard Hot 100 is you have an artist drop an album. They have 10 to 15 songs stay in the chart for 1 week and then most of them leave. And so it's just like just 1 week of music. I thought it was really interesting though. Another thing of note is that we had artists who previously had really dominated charts really only have like 2 songs. Like Ariana Grande had 2 songs. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars had like a song. Taylor Swift only had, I think, 2 songs.
2. Yeah. 2 or 3.
So some of like the artists who had like previously, Drake only had, I think, 2 songs or 1. So some of the artists that we routinely see on like top lists or in the past have seen a top list were not like as dominant this year. It was a lot of like newer artists or up and coming artists I feel like
that
really dominated the charts.
Yeah, that or like I was kind of happy to see some of the artists on the list, and I'll like mention it when we get to more of our favorites in honorable mentions and in like a song I picked.
Yeah.
There were a couple artists that I was like really happy to see because I feel like it's cool to see artists that you've maybe listened to in the past get some like attention.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get some hits. I remember when I saw Noah Kahan on the list last year, I was super happy, and he had a song again this year. Spoiler, I didn't pick it because I've been listening to him for like so long now that it doesn't feel like a
so-
song of the summer.
My problem, I mean, we haven't even gotten to our list yet, but Stick Season was on the list this year, and my problem is Stick Season is such a fall-winter song.
It
is
is
not
also,
a summer.
I've been listening to him.
It's
I've been
not
listening
a
to that
summer
album
song.
for so long now that
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't feel like a summer
It's
song.
not a summer song. I wouldn't like. I like the song,
Yeah.
and I mentioned in my honorable mention that I like this song, but it's not a summer song.
Yeah,
it's.
I mean,
not,
I did. I did "Dial Drunk" with Post Malone
too.
last year.
Yeah,
but
that
that
was
felt
also
like
on
a
my list.
collab. That felt more like it could fit in the summer.
It also wasn't like a seasonal song. Like this is like the season of the Sticks, like Christmas. It's very like holidays. It's got a vibe. It's not a summer.
But yeah, so I was excited to see some of those artists make the chart.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's all I have for this year. That was just some of the trends I saw, some of the things. Nothing like I know last year we had some like records, like country broken records, where it was like the first time in a long time they had like a number one song for that long, but this year's nothing spectacularly
Nothing
different.
out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Do we usually do our worst songs
we
first?
start with worst, which I
Okay.
prefer.
Okay. I have one honorable mention,
Okay.
and then otherwise I just have 5 songs.
I don't have an honorable mention. Besides that, I don't like Morgan Wallen.
Well, I mean, that was a given.
So
Yeah.
that's all I have to say.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I think we knew that from if you listen to any of our episodes previously, I think it's pretty
We
well
haven't hidden that fact.
It's not been hidden. Like Hannah, okay, we'll repeat it again if you're new here. I don't have a problem with country. It's not a genre that I often listen to, but I like certain facets of country and I listen to some country. I hate bro country. Bro country makes me want to throw up. And Hannah's a bigger fan of country than I am. And I know she also does not like Morgan Wallen and that type of sound.
Yeah, I'm a fan of more of older country. Think like Dolly, Johnny Cash, Loretta Lynn.
And I said this last year and I'll say it again. Like, I like Zach Bryan's music. I think it's perfectly fine. There's nothing offensive about it. I'm not even like... It's not on my list, but I've never... Like, I think I said it last year. Like, I genuinely was like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also never been a fan of like... Even when I was listening to more country music, I never was a fan of like kind of those artists. But I do think there's a lot of like talented artists. Like Casey Musgraves. I really like her music.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of bridges that gap of like folk, country, a little bit of
and
pop.
there's some overlap between like Noah Kahan, I think kind of is a little bit folksy.
He's like more folky.
He's an alternative folky to country pipeline. There's like a
and I like
trend.
I really like Kelsey Ballerini. She released a shorter album and I don't think any of her songs were on this list.
Yeah.
But
this
so there's
list,
definitely
I
country.
will say this list hates female country artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Not great for them.
I don't think we've had a single female country artist on this list that wasn't featured on somebody else's song.
Well, I guess if you
yeah.
count the one we had this year, The Boots.
Oh, I guess, but I don't know. That doesn't really feel like a country song.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
it technically
It's
is considered like country.
I guess.
Like they performed
guess,
it at
yeah.
like the CMA Awards and stuff like that.
I don't know. It
so-
doesn't feel like a country song.
Yeah,
but
not your typical country song.
There's one. There's one female artist who made the list, who's considered country.
Do you want to do your honorable mention and then I can start?
Absolutely. So my honorable mention is the song "Beautiful Things" by Benson Boone. And I know Hannah likes this song, and it's probably on her top 5 list. I don't know what it is, but the first time I heard this song, it just irritated something in me that, like, I have an irrational dislike of this song, and I think it's something about that just bothers me. There's nothing, like, wrong with the song itself. Like, I can't say that there's a production issue, his singing is fine. It's just something about that song just makes me upset, and I don't know what it is, but it's not a bad song, so that's why it's an honorable mention, because I think there were 5 songs that I didn't like enough more than that. But I had to be known because I was pretty confident Hannah was going to put this on her list, her good list, because that's the type of song she likes.
You do know my taste.
Yeah, so I had to bring it up because I was like, I think it's going to be on her list. So
I won't confirm nor deny that.
Okay. I was gonna say you turned pretty red, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Do you have any honorable mentions, or are you?
No, just besides that, I hate Morgan Wallen.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Do you want to start?
Number 5.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Okay.
All right, number 5. Okay, this song is called Lies, Lies, Lies by Morgan Wallen. Spoiler, he's on my list more than once. I don't like Morgan Wallen. I don't think he's got anything special when it comes to a voice. He sounds like a lot of the typical, like, bro country artist. He's also, like, a really shitty person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably am biased, but I also don't like the song. It just doesn't do anything for me, and I found every time it came on, I just, like, skipped right through it because I was annoyed.
That's fair. That song is not on my list, but you'll probably hear Morgan Wallen at some point. Perhaps a different one. Okay. My number 5 song is a Whiskey Whiskey, which is the artist Moneybagg Yo featuring Morgan Wallen. I genuinely don't enjoy pretty much any rap song that has a country artist as the hook, as like the chorus. And that's not just specifically Morgan Wallen, although I also agree. I hate Morgan Wallen. I don't like him. I've never enjoyed any. I can tolerate him at best. I can tolerate him. This song just sucks. I also just don't like the song. I'm sorry to the artist. It's just not. Doesn't work for me. I heard Morgan Wallen initially and I went, ew, gross, and then it kept going and I was like, not feeling it. But I don't know. That trend, I just don't. And I feel like Morgan Wallen is always the guy, or there's a huge trend where he is the hook on so many like rap songs and R&B and, hip hop. Like, I'm like, stop. Can we pick any other artist? Anyone else, please? Like, save us. Stop.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I had to say about that one.
Fair. We may see it again.
Okay.
Hear it again. Okay, my number 4 is called Band for Band by Central C featuring Lil Baby. I don't know why the British rapping, like, got to me, and I was just very annoyed.
It's funny because I've heard this song before we did this list.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but I was like, I think Anna's gonna hate it.
Normally I don't mind a British accent, and, like, I like British singers, but something about a British man rapping, just, like, it wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't working for me.
That's fair.
I don't think the actual song itself is bad. I think it's the execution.
Okay. Number 4, I have Cowgirls by Morgan Wallen featuring Ernest. Long Will of Cowgirls is the thing that's said in that song. And again, it's like a spicy country, right? It's got like a little mixed beat in the background, but it's like got that twangy guitar, this lonely sound. I don't like it. It's just like not a good song. Sorry to the Cowgirls. Nothing against the Cowgirls, just everything against Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, it was one of my last cuts. Again, I figured like 3 or 4 Morgan Wallen songs, like maybe I should have one different artist. But yeah,
Perhaps.
It was about to be on my list.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Number 3, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma from the
Twisters
movie soundtrack by Luke Combs. This isn't Luke Combs.
What?
It is Luke Combs, but it doesn't sound like Luke Combs.
Interesting. I don't know Luke Combs enough to know that.
I had an ex who was obsessed with Luke Combs. Same ex that we went to Buffalo Wild Wings with.
That doesn't surprise me.
No.
Yeah.
And he was obsessed, and we used to listen to Luke Combs in the car. Luke Combs, like, normally I enjoy Luke Combs' voice. I think he has a pretty nice voice. That doesn't sound like Luke Combs to me. And I think that's why I hate the song.
Huh. That's fair.
Because,
see, I wouldn't have... That's not something I would have noticed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I stand by it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not necessarily that the song was bad. It's like a typical, like, movie soundtrack song. Like...
Yeah.
They write the songs for a movie. So, like, it's going to be a little bit weird, but... I think it just bothered me so much that it didn't sound like Luke Combs that I got so fixated and I couldn't get over it.
That's fair.
So it made my list.
The song wasn't on my list. I listened to it and I went, yeah, it sounds like a movie soundtrack country song, but I don't know. That's interesting. There could be some truth to that. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe they modified his voice a little bit.
Normally his voice seems a lot like fuller and like it seemed really strained, and I was like, I don't know if they just did it for this movie
or
like
he just having a bad music. You know, they had to get the take, and he, you know,
because normally I'm okay with his music.
Auto tune.
I think he's less of like the bro country, and like he kind of reminds me a little bit of Zach Bryan, where he has like.
Is he the one who sings "Country Girls"? Shake it for me. Okay, what does he sing that I would know?
He sings like.
We had this conversation last year, didn't we?
Crazy can't help but.
I'm confident we talked about who.
Yeah, we did.
This was last year, and I think I asked this exact same question.
We did.
It's basically let me just look him up because I feel like I always forget.
Yeah,
he has. Right, he did the cover of Fast Car. Okay.
Yes, he was the one who did Tracy Chapman, and he
that
has
was
like
last
a
year,
nice voice. Yeah,
decent.
But
voice,
I didn't think it sounded like him, and I didn't like it. So, sorry.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
went on my list, but I totally get it.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, I have "Get It Sexy" by Sexy Red. I don't exactly know why I don't like this song. It's something about it just like irritates me. Did I freeze on your screen? I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah, I think my.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, I just saw myself freeze, and I was like, I just want to make sure it was
something just popped up, and then I.
But like, cause like, I like Glorilla's on this list, and I like Glorilla's music, and like SZA, and I generally like female rap artists like Megan Thee Stallion and like Doja Cat and Cardi B and stuff. So like, it's not that I hate women.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about this
women.
song. The first time I heard it, I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if it's just like something about the way it's performed or like the flow is just like not working with me. But I didn't like absolutely hate it, but I just like something about it I just did not like. So
yeah, it was almost on my list.
Okay,
it was on my last cuts. I felt the same. Something was off about it.
Yeah. I don't know what exactly, but
yeah, because it kind of reminded me a little bit of City Girls.
It is a little bit like City Girls, yeah.
And I like their music.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was something was off, and I just couldn't. But I don't think I disliked it as much as the ones I ended up picking. But it was definitely towards the end. Okay, this is Like That. Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Every year there's a song that gives me anxiety. And the first, 10 seconds, it's like, it gives me anxiety.
That's fair.
And so my problem is I can't sit and enjoy a song if I just, every time it comes on, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I normally, I don't have an issue with, Future, Kendrick Lamar. I don't really know Metro Boomin. I don't know who that is, really.
He's been on, a similar circle, yeah.
But I normally don't mind the music that those artists create, but it was just, the beat of it and the mix was just it was stressing me out.
That's fair. Yeah,
and I can't enjoy.
Understandable.
I can't enjoy a song like that. So
I understand that. Yes.
Yeah,
that is a fair assessment to make. Not on my list, but I get it. My number 2, my song is "Miles on It" by Marshmello featuring Kane Brown. Cheeky. We could put some miles on it if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. We're having sex. It's just cheesy in a bad way. It's just it's very I don't know. It gives mid 2000s pop anthem energy, but country.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. It feels there's a song I was thinking of that it feels like the country version of, but it makes it worse because it's like that. It's almost it's got the party rockers LMFAO, that type of vibe.
Party rocker anthem. A bit.
That type of vibe. Some of the DJ Khaled type stuff, but not in a fun way. Pitbull type music, but it's country, and I don't know, something I don't hate Marshmello. Some of his collaborations I've liked. This is just not it.
I like the one Marshmello has with Miranda Cosgrove in the.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, not for me.
But,
the song, I heard it, I went, nah.
Happier,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I, that song was near being on my list, but Morgan Wallen really stole the show, so. Speaking of Morgan Wallen.
Oh.
I'm sorry, if your song is called Whiskey Whiskey, you're never gonna be one of my favorite songs. Whiskey Whiskey, Moneybag Yo, Morgan Wallen. Yeah, pretty much everything you said. You're right. Morgan Wallen does tend to have this cycle or like pattern of being on songs with like rap artists.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's nothing.
It's to make reparations for his past crimes.
Probably clean up his image.
I mean, honestly, I think that's part of it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
genuinely not joking. I think that's part of it. But
No,
you know,
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I think part of the problem is if you're gonna have a collab with like a rapper and a country singer, you need a country singer who's like
Jelly Roll.
right, like a better
Yeah.
vocalist who has like a compelling voice.
Is he considered a country artist?
Jelly Roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would consider him
Okay,
country.
because I feel like he does really well on,
Right.
like, because he has a song with Eminem. Like
he
that
had a song with
one,
Eminem
yeah,
and he had his
yeah.
own song.
Right.
And yeah, I think you have to have an artist with a compelling voice. And I think the problem is Morgan Wallen sounds like every other guy in country music.
Yeah.
So there's nothing great about his voice. I also think the rap part like wasn't that strong.
No.
And I just think as like a collective song, there's like it's just annoying.
I would agree.
So yeah, I put that as number 1.
All right. Time for my number 1. I'm surprised this wasn't on your list at all, but that's fine. Number 1, I have Big Dogs by Hanum. I think it's supposed to be like Humankind, but like Hanum Kind and Kalmi. I probably butchered the names, and I'm sorry. Yeah. The first time I heard this song was on this list. Immediately in 5 seconds, I was like, this is probably going to be on my worst songs of the summer list. I think this is one of those songs that kind of just like snuck up a little bit onto the Hot 30. Like some of those songs that like just stay for like 2 weeks and then go away. It probably trended on TikTok or Instagram or something, but it's just like not good. There's just like nothing enjoyable about it. Like the way the music flow, it's just like I didn't like any of it.
You know, hearing you play it again, I do realize it should have been on my top 5.
I kept waiting for it to show up. Yeah.
It was on my list.
Okay.
I do when I first heard yeah, I was like, I hate this.
It's just like such a bad way to start a song.
Yeah. I would agree. I think
it went on for too long.
I think I probably should have been on my top 5.
You could do like an yeah, you know, some people have
Right,
like
an
an you know, like a
right.
We the best,
and usually
you know,
they like
you got
sneak it
something.
into the middle.
Yeah. You get something. This was just like 10 seconds of the same opening.
Right.
It's not what you want.
Yeah.
So then it's my number 1 because it sucked.
All right. So I would like to do a few honorable mentions.
Okay, I would as well.
For best. So I would like to give an honorable mention to Eminem.
Okay, yeah.
I did not pick any of his songs.
I mean, it's just amazing he's still putting out, you know, charting songs.
I will say Houdini was a very fun music video because it basically involves him like going back to like the 2000s.
Yeah. Plus, we're from Michigan, so like our mom listens to Eminem.
Right.
If that puts it in perspective.
We're a bit biased.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought Eminem had some good music. I did listen to that whole album just to kind of see. I would also like to shout out Billie Eilish. I did not pick any of her music, mostly because none of the songs struck me as like a song of the summer. But I do really like that album. And then I would like to give a shout out to Jelly Roll. I was really close to picking his solo song. And I really like he has a really interesting tone of voice. He seems like a really cool guy. Detroit did like their train reopening.
Yeah, the train station.
And they did this concert and Eminem performed and Jelly Roll came and performed with Eminem. And I watched like a video he made where he was like super excited because Eminem like contacted him and was like, hey, do you want to sing?
And he was doing the Aerosmith part. So like he had big shoes to fill.
And I remember him saying
Tyler,
like, oh, it definitely wasn't my best performance. I was nervous, but he was like, that was the coolest thing. And so, yeah, I think he seems like a really cool guy. I'm happy someone like him is getting like recognition.
Like a positive, yeah.
So yeah, I would like to give a shout out to him. And I would like to give a shout out to just all the pop girlies because I did include some, but I couldn't include all of them. So yeah, and one more shout out to Chapel. It's hard because some of the songs to me aren't I've been listening to them for a while, so they don't feel like a song of the summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my shout-outs.
All right. We talked about it a little earlier, but Stick Season, Noah Kahan was one of my honorable mentions because it's a good song, just does not feel like a song in the summer. I'd also like to shout out Lady Gaga Bruno Mars collab, Die With a Smile, because I was not expecting that. I was like, it makes perfect sense for them to collaborate. Lady Gaga's working on a pop album. I'm getting ready for that. She's coming back bigger and better than ever, I hope. Yeah. We need her. I'm ready for
We might have to do a special edition because we did cover Lady Gaga.
Oh, you're right. We did do Lady Gaga.
Might have to add her new album.
That's right. I almost completely forgot we did Lady Gaga.
One of our most listened to episodes.
That's true. It is our most listened to episode. Continues to be. Yeah. Hannah's Bad Romance. And then lastly, I just want to give a shout out to Charlie XCX. She had one song on this entire list, which was Guess with Billie Eilish, which is not one of my favorite songs from Brat. I had a Brat summer. I was having a good time. I think it just did not get in the pop charts. It probably, honestly, with Brat, but it's everything's remixed and it had a bunch of remixes. I think it picked up steam as it went on. So maybe some of the other songs would have charted that I liked better. But that was not one of my favorite songs or collaborations, and I would have liked other songs to be on the list, and I probably would have picked those over it. So I wanted to give it a shout out though, because she had a banger album, and I was sad that none of it made it except for one. So, and of course it was the one with Billie Eilish, which makes sense because Billie Eilish is a huge singer. So those are my shout outs. Do you want me to go first for this one?
Sure.
Okay. Number 5, I have Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Aw, cute Cashy. So I have a couple things to say about this. I put it as number 5 because it feels really weird to put a diss track calling Drake a pedophile as a high up song of the summer. The beat is so catchy, though, and early in summer, I was really vibing to this song a lot. I also watched many videos explaining the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and, people explaining what the song was and the references, because, clearly I don't have any knowledge, as a white woman from the Midwest.
Of the lore, yes.
Yeah, of, all of that. So I feel like I learned a lot, and it's just a really good song. It's just really catchy. But again, when I was making this list, I even thought about making it an honorable mention at one point, because I was it just feels like maybe I shouldn't be celebrating that in a way.
To be fair, though, it is a diss track, and it feels kind of good.
Yeah, it does. Oh, I agree. But it was just kind of because it was, I was I put it number 5, but I really like the song. I think it's a good song. Early on in the beginning of summer, I was really in my car,
Yeah. Yeah, it was on my list. I think I kind of ran into the thing of I like it, but just not enough to include it. This year was very, for me, was very specific in that 3 or 4 of these songs I've literally been listening to had on multiple playlists this whole summer. So
this was one I was already listening to before we made this list.
So it's very hard to it was very hard for songs to sneak in because I didn't have much space.
I completely agree.
Okay. Yeah. This song did sneak in, and this is an artist that I was mentioning before that I'm happy made this list. Okay, number 5 is Lose Control by Teddy Swims. I was telling Alyssa this. Teddy Swims is an artist that I discovered on YouTube years ago and really like his music. I think he has a really cool, tone of voice. Similar to, Jelly Roll, where they have very, soulful voices. So I was super excited when I saw him on this list because primarily the stuff I had seen him do was, covers, as a lot of, people who started on YouTube do. So yeah, I really like Teddy Swims' voice. I felt a bit of that feeling that I feel with Fletcher, where it's I have almost feel I have ownership because I discovered this artist before they got popular.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So, and I really like this song. It's very soulful and different than a lot of the songs that were on this list. So I like that too.
I think that's fair. I like the song. Did not make my list, but I know you had told me that earlier this year, so But
Yeah.
I think also, I think has a good tone of voice. Would agree with that. Right. Number 4, I have Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast before with like these music ones, but I have never been a big Billie Eilish fan in terms of her music. I really respect her as an artist because I think she's incredibly talented, but like I've only ever had a few select songs of hers that I've liked. Like I've never gone out of my way to like listen to her albums when they come out. It's kind of just like, I have a few songs here and there, like every once in a while. Yeah. But when this album came out, I don't know, something about it just like I really connected with this album specifically, and I had a couple songs that I really liked. Chihiro was another one I really liked. Well, one because it's about Spirited Away, so like what's not to like about that, clearly, as we are a Studio Ghibli podcast. But this one specifically, I just like felt like her tone was really nice. I felt like it was upbeat enough that it could work as like a song in the summer.
Yeah.
Like message is good.
Yeah.
So I just like, I don't know, something about it like really connected with me that I just was like, yeah, I really like this song, and I really like, I got it. Like, I don't know, I feel like I just can't get Billie Eilish as like an artist. Like maybe I'm just too old to like, connect. Like I feel like she's really like a Gen Z artist, like, in terms of like popularity with that certain group. So, but yeah, this one I really liked, and kind of when I was listening to the album, I was like, this one was one that I was like, I think it's probably going to be on my list when I heard it. Yeah.
Did you actually say the song title?
Yeah, Birds of a Feather.
Okay. Yeah. I couldn't remember if you did.
Yeah, I said it right away, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I put Billie Eilish as an honorable mention. I'm someone who... I tend to listen to most of her albums when they come out. I agree. I really like this album. I do also really like Lunch.
It's funny. When I heard it, I was like, I could see this being on Hannah's list.
Yeah. I almost did.
I was like, I could see it. Because I like Lunch too. Lunch is also good, but I like this one more. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I agree. I think Billie Eilish is obviously very talented. Very like, again, like pretty young. And she started making music when she was younger too.
Oh yeah, like a teenager, yeah.
And like her and Phineas together collaborating, like they've obviously like made really great songs. I mean, they just won
She's won multiple. She's won an
Oscar.
Yeah,
and they won an Oscar
for James Bond theme, right?
Well, and for Barbie.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I think they have 2 Oscars.
Yeah.
You have 2. And,
What Was I Made For?
Many Grammys, yeah.
Yeah, and so I've always liked her music. She's kind of in that genre of like female artist that I really enjoy. I just, like I said, it just was one of those things where I had like these songs like set in stone. And but Lunch almost made my list.
Yeah.
Okay. Taylor had to be on this list. Number 4 is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart by Taylor Swift. This was off Tortured Poets, which came out earlier this year. I've heard this song described as a sad girl pop anthem.
Yeah.
Which I think is very accurate.
That's fair.
Also the line, I cry a lot, but I am so productive.
Yeah.
I think many people can relate to that.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I think it's interesting because I've listened to people react, or I've watched people on YouTube react to this song, and some people are like, oh, it's such like an uplifting song, and then some people are like, it's actually a really depressing song built as like a uplifting. So I think it's an interesting dynamic how she's able to do that. I don't know that it's my favorite song off Tortured Poets, but there weren't many songs to pick from.
I think it was that and Fortnite, right?
With Fortnite with Post Malone. Yeah. But yeah, I like this song. I like the chorus. I think I'm also like just a big Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah. So
usually when her music comes out, I'm like, well,
yeah, it's
gonna be my song of whatever season it is.
That's fair.
Not just summer. So yeah, I enjoy the song, and I enjoy when you first listen to it, it feels very like high energy, and then when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, oh,
yeah,
not what it seems.
Double meaning.
Yeah.
That song was not on my list, but Taylor was on my list last year. I have a little bit of a hot take. I did not really like Tortured Poets. I don't hate it. I just am, I don't know. You know how I am with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I either I love an album or it's okay. There's no like in between. It's
Well,
it's
we can discuss this in the future.
Yeah, we'll discuss in the future. But So yeah, none of the songs really connected with me.
I kind of figured,
especially the two that were on this list. I guess.
Yeah, when I saw the songs in the list, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think Alyssa's gonna have either.
No. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Okay. Number 3 is Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. I'm just going to be upfront. Red Wine Supernova would have been my pick if it was on the list. I would have picked that as a song of the summer, but that didn't make the list. I think that's the most summer song of the ones that she has. Wasn't on the list, so I had to work with what I had. This is my artist that I discovered. I started listening to Chappell Roan in 2022. I went back and looked at my Spotify playlist to know when I started adding her music. She had and it's funny because the songs that I had heard of hers were more like Sad Girl. It was Casual and Naked in Manhattan were more like a sad girl kind of indie feel. And I'd heard them on playlists and started adding them. And then in I think it was I can't remember when her album came out. I think March maybe.
Yeah.
I heard Red Wine Supernova and then I listened to the whole album and I was like, oh my God, I love it. Pink Pony Club. She had things that had come out before the album. But
yeah, because the album itself, I think came
March.
out last summer.
Was it last summer?
The
whole album?
Maybe
No,
the
I
singles
think it was.
came out.
I think it was March. I thought
Okay.
I thought I was hearing Red Wine Supernova in March. Let me just.
Maybe it was some of the singles came out.
Because I'd heard some of the singles in 2022. Yeah, the album itself, it says 2023. So
yeah, it was summer 2023.
Oh, you're right, it
August,
was.
so
Okay.
it would have missed our songs of the summer list.
That's right. But I had heard it before it blew up. And I was like, oh, this is good. And then all of a sudden it was I saw her everywhere and I was like, oh, she's blowing up, and rightfully so. I think it's a really well done album.
Yeah.
I think she makes really fun music. You can say what you want about her as a person. I know there's a lot of controversy with, certain aspects of her, which as there is with all pop girlies, there's always, something wrong. But going back to the song I picked, Good Luck Babe, I think the first time I heard this, because this was not initially on the album, this was a single that came later this year. I think maybe this one came out in March of this year. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. This song came out a bit later. Yeah, April. Okay, April. This song came out in April. That's what I was thinking. I was I know something came out this spring into summer, and it was this song. I heard this song, and I just really liked it, and I liked the tone of it and the way it goes. It's just very catchy. Easy song to sing in the car. So I picked that one. But big fan, Chappell Roan. She's making good fun music. I think that's what I like about summer songs is fun music.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but
It felt weird not to have Chappell on this list, but I don't know. I think maybe because I heard the album last year, it feels I think I listened to the album last year in the winter, so it feels weird to kind of how you had Cruel Summer on your list, and I was I've been listening to this for a while. Speaking of pop girl, number 3, I have We Can't Be Friends, parentheses, Wait for Your Love by Ariana Grande. I've always liked her music.
Yeah.
I think, I don't necessarily listen to all of her albums when they come out. But she tends to have a couple hits each time she releases an album that I just gradually or naturally hear.
she's been very consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the more consistent artists of this period of time. And one of the more popular artists of this period of time. But yeah, popular. Yeah, she's gonna be in Wicked.
Yeah, actually popular though.
Yeah, so I really like this song. I heard this song a little bit later in the summer, but it's one of those songs that kind of just grew on me. And I don't know, I find her really there's something about her music and about her as a person that's very draws you in. Mm-hmm. And I would recommend her Hot Ones interview.
It's good. Yeah.
It's very good. But yeah, I just like her music. I think she's, again, talented, kind of knows what works in the industry, but also stays true to herself.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I think that's fair.
And yeah, she also had another song on this list, but I think this one is the one that I prefer, so.
Yeah. This song was not on my list, but it was a contender for a bit there. I also like this song a lot. Sounds nice. It's an easy, it's kind of similar to like Flowers. It feels kind of a similar
Yeah.
vibe to that.
Right.
But it didn't get overplayed like 800 times.
Right.
Yeah. It helps. All right. Number 2, I have Too Sweet by Hosier. And Hannah, you can have a song in the top that has the word whiskey in it. Take My Whiskey Neat. But it's not the title, so.
Yeah, I said as long as the song's
Caveat.
not called.
Yeah, caveat. I have liked Hosier for a long time. I saw him live. I think it was in 2015. And it was like right after like the Take Me to Church, like that album came out, like Cherry Wine, Work Song. And he was really, I went with some friends from high school, like I think during the summer in college, like at a smaller venue, like a smaller outdoor venue near us or where we grew up. And he was like, I was really entertained. Like, it was better than I thought it was going to be. He did an Ariana Grande cover. That's funny that, yeah, that I thought was fun. But he was an artist I've liked and that I was surprised was on the list. I didn't realize that song had blown up that much because it was pretty high. It was in the top 10, like, the entire summer, which I was surprised by because I had been listening to him for a while and I had heard some of his newer songs, like, maybe in the spring. And then I was like looking at the list and I was like, oh, it's like this song's on here. But I've just been listening to this song in general for a while and it fits as a summer song. Like it's got kind of like the energy that works for a summer song, you know, like a summer evening, you could play it at like a bonfire. It's got like that driving, it fits for multifaceted use. But I like the song. It's a little not too sweet, just right.
Yeah, it was my second to last cut.
Okay.
I think the only thing that hurt it is that I've heard it so many goddamn times on Instagram.
Hitting that wine a little too hard.
I have been. I'm drunk. I've heard it so many times on Instagram
okay.
that it like almost has that effect of like it's just too much.
That's fair.
But I
feel
really
like
like the song.
Didn't hear it on Instagram.
I've
that
heard it all
much. Like a
over.
little bit, but not that much. That's fair though. Yeah.
All right. I will say, I do believe we have the same artist for our number 1, but I think we have different songs.
Okay.
Yeah. But
You
anyways,
still
this
have
is
your number 2.
this is number
right?
2.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful Things by Benson Boone. You were correct.
I knew it.
You do know the songs that I like.
I know.
I will say, this song was huge on Instagram.
Okay. You know what? I did hear it a lot on Instagram. It was that part too. I think that's why I realized because
that part played.
That part was constantly on. Yeah.
And I think I found this song like really early on in the summer.
Okay.
And since then it's like I play it a lot when I'm driving.
Yeah, I listened to it in the car with you like a month ago.
Yeah. Something about the song, the way it builds. I actually really like his voice. I also think he did a really good performance of it at, I think, the VMAs.
Okay. I don't have any problem with his voice. It's
No.
just the song. I don't know. Something about the production.
And he's an American Idol dropout, so...
We love that. We love our American Idol second place dropout alums.
Yeah, he, like, made it to Hollywood and then, like, dropped out.
Happens.
Worked out well for him.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like the way it builds. I didn't expect you to have it on your list. I didn't think it was going to be on your worst or almost worst.
It didn't make either list, technically. Honorable
yeah,
mention.
but I just enjoy the song. And like I said, I'm fairly confident we have the same artist. I think I know what your number 1 song is, and I don't think it's the same.
I think I know what your number 1 song is. I think you picked one, and I picked one.
Yeah. I will preface by saying this girl's kind of been at the top of, like, the pop world at the moment.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think I know which one you've picked. And I think it is different.
I think that speaks to the well, there was a lot to pick from.
There was
but I think it also speaks,
there were not slim pickings.
No. I see what you did there. I think it speaks to the range.
Yeah, I think so.
Of songs. Yeah.
And as we all know, I like if you've listened to any of the songs of Summer List, my number 1s are always very upbeat, catchy, fun songs. So, which means it had to be this one.
We also know that you like a nice beverage.
Anyway, number 1 is Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. I was aware of Sabrina Carpenter before, like Nonsense. I'd heard her, like, you know, her every time she goes somewhere, she makes up a new lyric kind of deal. I'd seen that. It was fun, you know, cute. I know she like opened for Taylor Swift previously. So I was like aware of her, and like she was on the Disney Channel, so awareness. But I hadn't really listened to her music prior to this album cycle and singles. But when I heard this song, hooked.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's catchy, it's fun, it's like upbeat. It's just like, and I haven't gotten sick of it yet. I think that's the other thing, is it's like I still haven't like gotten sick of the song where I'm like, okay, I'm done. Because like Flowers I thought was really catchy and good, but I got sick of Flowers. Like that one just like too much. Too much song. This one though is fun. I like it. It's, you know, what's not to like? It's good lyrics, good fun. Please show us your number one song.
Yeah, please, Sabrina Carpenter. This song is one that I have been listening to consistently the whole summer. I have been listening to her album pretty frequently too. I love this song. I love like the synthy like intro. It's written with her produced by Jack Antoff, who does
Taylor.
A lot of Taylor
Swift
stuff.
I was gonna say, when I was playing, I was like, this sounds a lot like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Like I was like, I heard the intros sounded very similar. Yeah.
I only knew of Sabrina Carpenter because of the Olivia Rodrigo
I was
drama.
just thinking about that she was the other woman.
The other woman. So that's because she was in High School Musical, the series or whatever it's called. So that's really how I knew about her. And then when Feather came out maybe like 2 years ago or whenever that came out, I had heard that song. This was like her first album that I listened to fully. And yeah, she definitely knows the formula for a good pop song. Like you said, Espresso has never gotten old to me either.
No.
Espresso easily could have slid into number one. Like I could have swapped these two, but this song just has like a grip on me.
It's fair.
The music video is
fun.
Very reminiscent of like 2000s music videos, which I love. And yeah, I really like this song. Someone has described this song of like gives like Dolly Parton country vibes because she does like when she says like the motherfucker, it is very like country.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, and I think
like some of her songs she definitely has like a kind of twang to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Slim Pickens.
Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah, like she's kind of the person I think that right now I would consider like how Olivia Rodrigo was like 2 years ago. Right. I feel like she's kind of the it girl in pop right now.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Her and Chapel, I would kind of put them as tied right now. But yeah, I think that, you know, she's talented and she's
she has like a very specific image that she like has and it goes with and works for her, and
I think again she's one of those artists who's like very creative and very like a lot of her music videos are very like popular. So she has kind of that creative, in ways reminds me of Taylor with how she has like that creative image or direction for how she wants things to go. And yeah, I just really like her music. I mean, there were multiple songs on this album that I would have like put in my top 5 if I didn't want to like make a whole list of just Sabrina Carpenter music. But yeah, I think she is very she just understands what people will like listen to and not get sick of. Yeah. So yeah.
I think it's like what's in right now too is like that's kind of working.
Yeah. So yeah, I not surprised that we both had. I knew that you would pick Espresso.
Yeah. I feel like that's not surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you'll like that. Please. I was like, that feels like what you would pick. If you
I remember like texting you and Tara like a couple of months ago and being like, you got to watch the music video because I'd watched it like 100 times.
Yeah. I like gotta watch it.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that we both had. We didn't have any duplicates in the top
5. No, we just had just our number one artist. Otherwise, we had completely different songs and artists in our top 5.
Yeah,
which is
I guess I'm not totally surprised by because I think I had these specific songs that I was very gravitated towards.
Yeah, and I feel like we tend to have more similarities with our bad songs than we do with our good songs, just in general. Like we usually have some overlap, but it's never been like all 5 are the same. I didn't get any of our lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'll read through mine.
Sure.
My top 5 worst, I had Lies, 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 Morgan Wallen, Band for Band, Central C, Lil Baby, Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, Luke Combs, Like That, Future, Metro Boomin, Kendrick Lamar, Whiskey Whiskey, Moneybag Yo, featuring Morgan Wallen. My top 5, I had Lose Control, Teddy Swims, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, Taylor Swift, We Can't Be Friends, Ariana Grande, Beautiful Things, Benson Boone, and Please, 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 Sabrina Carpenter.
And then for mine, my worst songs, number 5, I had Whiskey Whiskey by Moneybag Yo featuring Morgan Wallen, Cowgirls, Morgan Wallen featuring Ernest, Get It Sexy by Sexy Red, Miles on It, Marshmello and Kane Brown, and number 1 was Big Dogs by Hannum Kind and Call Me. For my top songs, number 5, I had Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish, Good Luck Babe, Chappell Roan, Too Sweet by Hosier, and number 1 is Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
You know.
I would say Sabrina's the winner.
I think so, yeah. Like
Of the
Olivia
summer.
Rodrigo has been a consistent winner of the summer for us.
Yeah.
this
Proof
year.
that,
Pop girlies get it done.
yeah, and
Morgan
men
Wallen
suck,
can eat it.
and they can't be popular. But the two women who were the lore
Yeah.
got it done.
Got it done.
Yeah.
Got it done. Cleaned up.
Once again, proven that women are superior.
Yeah. In the pop industry, at least, for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
in life.
Well, wouldn't seem like that right now.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so I enjoy Songs of the Summer.
Me too. It's fun. It's nice to just like see what's popular, because it's like things that I listen to. Like I listen to a lot of different music, so I listen to some things that are popular, some things that are not. So it's nice to see like what is on these lists that I listen to and what's new and what's considered popular. Fun to do every year, and generally we tend to get it done somewhat close to summer, ideally. But every once in a while it shifts a little to be in the fall. You know, it'll come out this year.
Yeah.
We'll come back to you in the holiday season. Ring in the new year.
Rain a Lane Lane.
Ho, ho, ho.
And a bottle of rum. Not whiskey.
Well, if you like your whiskey neat, you can check us out on social media. We have a Letterboxd account. We have our Gmail, r3podcast@gmail.com. We have an Instagram. Maybe we'll make a Blue Sky account. We'll see. Do you not know what Blue Sky is?
I don't know what that is.
It's the new Twitter.
Oh.
So it's not just full of like gross things, because a lot of people are leaving Twitter to go to Blue Sky.
We'll see.
Yeah, so we might make a Blue Sky account. But if you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to let us know. If you have any suggestions, we always take those. But yeah, we have some episodes we've got planned out for next year that we're looking forward to, with some fun things, I think. We'll see you next time. Bye.
We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.